Hi everyone, my name is Ren from Quicksave Interactive. In this tutorial, we will be covering drag activities and drag offset actions. What are drag activities? Drag activities allow us to specify a machine state in which our drag trigger UI interaction is active in. This prevents our UI from being draggable outside of that machine's state and the additional usage of resources. Let's dive into the machine editor and learn how we can add a drag activity to both our carousel UI and our game sprite. In the machine editor, we have our carousel UI in our main menu. If we go to the view panel, you can see that the carousel UI is not interactable. And that is because we have not added a drag activity to our carousel machine state. Let's do that now so that we can drag our carousel and see the other carousel items. In our settings panel, if we were to scroll down to the drag activities section, we can click the add button here to add an empty drag activity. I will name this drag activity Carousel Swipe. The layout that the carousel exists on is the carousel layout. And the element which has the drag trigger is the grid element within the carousel layout. We have now created our first drag activity. Let's add it to the carousel machine state. Selecting the carousel machine state, we can go to the activities section and click the add button here. I will then add the carousel swipe activity we have just created. Now that we have added our carousel swipe activity to the carousel state, if we were to go to the view panel again, we can now interact with our carousel and swipe across to see the other carousel items. Now, let's do the same for our game sprite within the game machine state. I'll first start by clicking the game event so that we activate our game machine state. And as you can see, the sprite is currently not interactable. Let's add our drag activity for this mascot sprite so it can be dragged across this grid. Returning back to the drag activities section within the settings panel, we're going to add a new drag activity. I will call this sprite drag. The layout the sprite exists in is the main layout, and the element which has the drag trigger is the mascot element. Next, I will go to the game state within our hierarchy. Selecting it, I will add a new child state to the game state. And I will call this state mascot. I will also set the initial state for our game machine state as mascot. So the mascot state will be active upon entering the game machine state. Selecting the mascot state, I will add a new activity, and we will use our sprite drag activity here. Now, in our view panel, we can hover over our sprite and actually drag it across our grid. It's important to note that the drag activity uses the properties from the drag trigger in our UI. So the steps, access, snap duration, and easing all come from the properties of the drag trigger. In the next video, we will be taking a look at the drag offset action and how it can be used to set the initial position of our draggable UI and create auto-rotating UI elements such as our carousel. Thank you for watching, and see you again next time.